What is up, football fans, sports fanatics everywhere? This is Tim from Tim Reynolds Show, and on this episode, we're just going to have some good football talk for you on this Football Friday. First, we're going to start out with the UFL as the playoffs begin this weekend in the UFL season. The conference championship games have been set. The first matchup we have going on Saturday is going to be the Michigan Panthers and their new Coach of the Year, Mike Nolan. Congratulations to the Michigan Panthers head coach on being voted as the Coach of the Year in the UFL this season. His team is going to be taking on the Birmingham Stallions. They're going ahead and hosting this game for the USFL Conference Championship game. This should be very, very interesting. Two high-powered offenses. Michigan known more for their running game, and Stallions known for their dominance in the running game as well. This should be a really interesting matchup in the USFL Conference Championship game. In the XFL Conference Championship game, we have the San Antonio Brahmas taking on the St. Louis Battlehawks. This should be a really good matchup as quarterback A.J. McCarron for the Battlehawks looks to go up against that tough Brahmas defense that they have there in San Antonio. And not only that, San Antonio likes to run the football really, really well and control the clock. So they're going to be looking to do that and keeping the ball out of the Battlehawks offensive's hands, out of A.J. McCarron's hands, in order for them to control the game and hopefully get a victory in this XFL Conference Championship game this weekend as the playoffs start in the UFL this weekend. Don't forget to check it out, everybody. Other big news in the NFL that's going on right now. We had a couple really big signings that have happened in the past week. First was wide receiver Jalen Waddle signs an $84.75 million extension with the Miami Dolphins. This one comes as $76 million guaranteed on that contract, as Waddle was looking for a contract extension this offseason, and now he finally gets one with the Miami Dolphins. Now, what does this mean for the Dolphins going forward? Well, now they got their two wide receivers locked up at least for the next couple of years. I know Tyreek Hill right now is looking for a contract extension with all of these deals that have been going on with free agents right now with wide receivers. I know Tyreek Hill is going to be looking to try to get a bigger contract extension, hopefully next offseason or maybe even before then. But right now, this secures that offense for the Dolphins with their two top wide receivers. Waddle's going to be around in Miami for a while, and this is a great signing for the Dolphins as they're looking to make the playoffs again after a really good playoff run last year that ended against the Kansas City Chiefs. Not only that, we have running back Christian McCaffrey also signed a 2-year, $38 million extension with the San Francisco 49ers. And in case you guys didn't know, CMC and Jim Brown are the only players in the NFL to ever lead the league in total touches, scrimmage yards, and touchdowns in multiple seasons, as now Christian McCaffrey becomes the highest paid running back in the league. And hopefully with this new contract, this will help start getting bigger contracts for these running back positions going forward in the NFL. Because if you ask me, the big question here is did Christian McCaffrey really deserve this contract? Absolutely he did. But is this going to help change the running back market that's happening in the NFL right now? This I'm not too sure about, man. It's been a really, really tough market for running backs in the NFL for a few years now. Although Jonathan Taylor did get his extension last year after holding out with the Indianapolis Colts, that was a pretty good deal in itself. This one, though, for Christian McCaffrey is averaging about $19 million per year, which puts him as the top paid running back in the league this year and next year, I believe, depending on other extensions happening, obviously. But I think this is going to help out the running back market a lot. This guy was definitely the best player on his team last year as he helped San Francisco get them all the way to the Super Bowl, even though they came up short against the Kansas City Chiefs. The next big news that happened this week was Justin Jefferson gets a huge contract extension with the Minnesota Vikings. He signs a 4-year deal worth $140 million and $110 million guaranteed. And not only that, the guy got almost $88 million at signing when he signed his contract extension for this one. So congratulations to the Vikings, man. Justin Jefferson, well-deserved, brother. Congratulations on that contract extension, on getting the money. It's well-deserved. Now, the question that's been asked around there, around social media and around the sports world, is whether or not does he deserve this big contract? Did the Vikings spend too much money on him? Well, they don't have Kirk Cousins' contract anymore, and they have a rookie quarterback right now who's on a rookie quarterback deal. Now, I don't know if J.J. McCarthy is going to end up being the starter for the Minnesota Vikings going forward. Right now, the reports out of training camp are that Sam Darnold is the the head guy right now on the depth chart, and JJ is, I think, actually third on the depth chart behind Nick Mullins. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that quarterback position on whether or not this makes this a really good move for the Minnesota Vikings or not. But come on, guys. Like, Justin Jefferson deserves every single penny on this contract. He is one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best. And on top of that, the guy's making highlight catch after highlight catch every single year. I mean, you guys remember that fourth down catch against the Buffalo Bills? Dude, the guy literally grabbed it with one hand and pulled it into himself out of the defender's hands. Like, this guy is a straight baller, okay? He deserves every single penny that he's getting in this contract, and I don't even think it's debatable. Really, the only question is whether or not he's going to have a good starting quarterback. Is Sam Darnold going to be the guy that's going to be able to get, JJ up to that level of tier where this contract says he is? Well, JJ's, Justin Jefferson is already there. So it doesn't really matter to me as far as you're, filling out the contract details and whatnot. This guy is worth the contract, and you want to be able to grow your franchise with a cornerstone piece like this, okay? Me being a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I am so happy that they re-signed Mike Evans because that guy is a pillar to our franchise. Justin Jefferson is a pillar to the Minnesota Vikings franchise right now. He is one of the best leaders, if not the best player on the whole entire team. So he deserves this contract, and I think it's really shameful of anybody in sports media right now to say that he doesn't deserve it. Now, did they overpay? There's some people that say in the wide receiver market right now it's booming. If you look at all the wide receivers drafted, especially in the first round in the last couple of years in the NFL draft, you know that the wide receiver position is actually pretty stacked for the most part. So it's whether or not, is he really worth it? He's worth every single penny. You can bet your money on that for Justin Jefferson. Another big NFL news that's been happening this week. The Chicago Bears were announced to be the HBO Hard Knock recipient for training camp in the preseason this year. So that should be really interesting as they're going to follow around with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears and see what kind of interesting things he's going to be doing during training camp and preseason to get himself ready, as he's already been announced as the starter for the Chicago Bears as their starting quarterback. And it's going to be really exciting to see what happens in the 2024 season with the Chicago Bears. Also, ESPN gave out their Football Power Index rankings, or FPIs. They go out to see the top odds for teams as far as their Super Bowl chances heading into this year. Number one on the list was the San Francisco 49ers with 16% chance for them to make it to the Super Bowl. Number two was the Chiefs with a 12% chance to make it to the Super Bowl. Number three on that list was the Lions with a 10% chance. Number four on that list was the Cowboys with a 9% chance. And number five, to complete your top five, is the Ravens with an 8% chance to win the Super Bowl. Now, honestly, I don't disagree with these a whole lot. The San Francisco 49ers on paper probably do have one of the best teams right now, but how can you not put the Chiefs ahead of the Niners right now? Okay, the Niners haven't proven anything to anybody. If anything, they've just proven they can get to the playoffs. That's really the only thing they have proven. They have not proven that they can be a Super Bowl winning team. I mean, the San Francisco, in their defense, they've been one of the best teams in the NFL in the past 5 years, right? But they've also made the Super Bowl twice in the past 5 years and lost both times to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't understand how the people are going to rank them roster-wise, coach-wise, whatever the case may be, how you're ranking them percentage-wise on a chance to win the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, is asinine. These numbers should definitely be switched, in my opinion. I would be looking at 16% for Kansas City Chiefs to make it back to the Super Bowl, and then I would be looking at a 12% chance for the San Francisco 49ers to win the Super Bowl. That would be my opinion. Now, as far as the rest of these teams go, number three is the Lions. They've given them a 10% chance to win the Super Bowl. I think that's pretty good odds for them. This team's definitely looking better than it did last year. The really big question mark, though, still for this Lions team is not only can they be consistent, can they have back-to-back years making the playoffs and making it to the NFC Championship game, and can this secondary step up? With the big news that Justin Jefferson is getting a huge contract extension with the Vikings, you are definitely hoping that this Lions secondary is going to step their game up, because they were not very, very good last year in defending the pass, and that was kind of their Achilles heel, especially when you've seen it come across in the NFC Championship game when they weren't really able to pull out the victory against the Niners in there. So it's going to be really interesting to see what sort of changes are made on the defensive side of the ball to get this secondary better and up to par. Not only that, the rest of the team has got to be up to that standard now that they set for themselves over these last 2 years, or maybe you could say year and a half with the run that they had a couple years ago where they knocked off the Packers in the last game of the season and just barely missed the playoffs. But this is definitely a Super Bowl contending team. Dan Campbell and those guys, those coaches, they always get those boys ready. It doesn't really matter who they have lining up for them. Honestly, I think they're going to get the best out of every single player that they get on the field there in Detroit. I love the coaching. I love what Dan Campbell brings to the table with them. And not only that, this team needs to prove all the haters wrong. You need to prove all the critics wrong there in Detroit. Why? Because you finally put your money where your mouth is. You finally sign guys to big contract extensions in Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jared Goff. So there's no more controversy on whether or not Jared Goff is the franchise quarterback for the Lions. He is. He's been paid like it. He's gotten his contract. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league, and he just needs to keep proving that to everybody, man. To me, he's a slot beast. He's a possession catch guy all the time. Anytime you need a really good catch, you need a first down, that's the guy they go to. And not only that, Penei Sewell is one of the best offensive tackles in football. He could probably play left tackle, but he's been on the right side dominating for the most part. So all these guys, well-deserved contract extensions for them in Detroit. And I'm really looking forward to see what happens with Detroit with their 10% chance here to win the Super Bowl, according to the ESPN FPI rankings. We're going ahead and talk about the Cowboys a little bit. I'm not a huge Cowboys fan, as some of you guys may know that about me. Cowboys, man, I don't get it. How are they fourth, 9% chance to win the Super Bowl? Okay, so they have Dak Prescott, they have Michael Parsons, they have CeeDee Lamb, or at least hopefully have CeeDee Lamb, because he's been, holding out on Manning camp right now looking for a contract extension, especially ever since Jefferson got his contract extension earlier this week. But what have they done to really improve their team this offseason? Like, there's not, besides getting defensive coordinator Mike Zimmerman, which I think is going to be helpful, but Dan Quinn was still a good defensive coordinator. The guy's now the head coach for the Washington Commanders, for crying out loud. So I don't understand where this 9% is coming from. Okay, were they good last year? Yeah, the Cowboys were good last year, but they also got spanked in the playoffs by the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, okay? And that was Jordan Love's first ever time in the playoffs. I know he was in the playoff game the week before and did very, very well, but, I mean, guys, Jordan Love's first year as a starter in the league goes into the playoffs against the Cowboys and kicks their butt, man. Nobody's seen that coming. I know that Packers went and lost against San Francisco the following week, but honestly, man, I just don't understand why the Cowboys are ranked number 9 or ranked 4th here with 9% chance to win the Super Bowl. I don't agree with that at all. The Ravens definitely should be ranked above them. And I'm sure if I look down the list, which I don't have here in front of me, but I'm sure if you look down that list of the next 5 guys in the top 10, I'm sure you could put a lot of those teams ahead of the Cowboys, in my opinion. I really don't know what's going to happen with this team. I think Dallas has a good overall team for the most part when you look at them on paper, but I think they're going to be heading for a downturn this year. And this is not me talking as a hater of the Cowboys or anything like that, dude. I'm just thinking you have so much controversy going around right now with the head coach and his contract, with the quarterback and his contract. You got this controversy right now with your top wide receiver, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league, CeeDee Lamb, and you haven't given him a contract extension yet. And you got Michael Parsons' contract extension coming up, which he's going to get paid. He is going to get his bag. That is for sure. So how ESPN, how, guys, do the Cowboys have a 9% chance to win the Super Bowl, ranked above 28 teams? I mean, no, bro. No, I don't think so, man. I think there are plenty of other teams, including this next one that we're going to talk about, that are looking at they're going to have way better 2024 seasons than the Dallas Cowboys were. The next on the list is the Baltimore Ravens with 8% chance to win the Super Bowl. This team is going to be a dark horse for me, man. They already made it to the AFC Championship game last year and lost to the Chiefs. which was very uncharacteristic the way they lost that game. The Ravens did not run the football well, and they tried to pass the football everywhere, which was baffling to me. I mean, that was a head scratcher, to be honest with you guys. The Ravens should have just played their game plan. If they would have ran the football, I think they would have had a lot better chance to win that game at the end of the fourth quarter, rather than, Kansas City taking that and going ahead and winning the Super Bowl a couple weeks later. If Lamar Jackson's going to continue to be one of the best players in the league, obviously being voted the MVP for last year, you need to see them step their game up. And what did they do? They went and signed Derrick Henry this offseason. Dude, if that doesn't get you goosebumps or get you pumped up as a Baltimore fan, I really don't know what else to tell you, dude, okay? Now, as far as the wide receivers go, that's still going to be a big question mark for this team. I love Zay Flowers, though. His rookie season last year was very, very good. I do see him taking another step up this year to be one of those primetime slot guys. He reminds me a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown with the way he's able to be all over the field, small, can catch pretty much anything that's thrown to him. But with that said, is this defense going to be just as good as they were last year? See, Baltimore lost a key piece to their defense with Patrick Queen signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I really do think is going to be a big loss for them. But Baltimore is known for replacing guys on their defense and always having a very stingy playoff caliber type defense on this franchise, on this team. So honestly, I think they have a way better chance of winning the Super Bowl than just the 8% chance. I would probably swap them and the Cowboys, give the Ravens a 9% chance. Go ahead and give the Cowboys an 8% chance if you want. I'm sure there's plenty other teams on this list that you could probably put ahead of the Cowboys right now, just based on the fact that they're a little bit more stable with their franchise, a little more stable with their contract situations, and a little more stable with their head coach situation, which we all know in Dallas is a little bit up in the air right now with McCarthy heading into the last year of his deal, and we know his job is on the line there. Well, guys, this has been NFL News and Notes for you right here on Tim Reynolds Show. I hope you guys liked the show. Thank you so much for all the support here, guys. The sports world, the football community, you guys have been amazing so far on my channel. You'll see a lot of shorts and a lot of different videos come up on my channel. We like to have fun, man. We like to go and throw the football around, work out a little bit, give inspirational messages out there to young men and women who are trying to accomplish their dreams. They're trying to accomplish something in their lives. And hey, trust me, man, this is June is Men's Mental Awareness Month. And for me, I've struggled with mental health most of my life, and I know that this is hard. This has been really hard for me to go and be on here and make these videos and do this channel for you guys because, hey, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. You got to be creative and you got to be willing to work hard and go out there and follow your dreams, man. So I just want to give that confidence and that boost of confidence to all the young men out there that are struggling with their mental health, and even the older men out there that are struggling. Hey, just remember, you're not alone, man. There's a lot of guys and a lot of men around this world with struggling with that mental health just like you are. And just know that, hey, champions are not born, they're built. And no matter what happens in your life, no matter how you take it, you can take it with a grain of salt, and you can look at it from a positive light instead of a negative one. Everything in this world has a yin and a yang, and you got to make the best of it, man. You can always find the light in the darkness, and you can always see some darkness in the light. So just be sure to know who you are, follow your dreams, and work hard for what you want out of life, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the channel. Have a nice day, everybody. Peace out.